What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Okay guys, couple of things we want to talk about. These are going to be very important, so I want you guys to please pay attention to this, because it's going to actually help you guys understand how to build your Sung Jinwoo from a stats perspective. Now I know a lot of people have been asking, Payne, how do I do this? What do I do? Etc, etc, etc. So we're going to go ahead and cover this as thoroughly as possible as we can, and help you guys understand what exactly you want to look for as a free-to-play player or as a pay-to-win player from a stats perspective. Now it's a little bit complicated, but I'm going to try to break it down for you guys as well as I possibly can. So when you go to Sung Jinwoo stats, you're going to notice you're going to have the option to do a lot of these little player stat increases, right? Whenever you level. So whether it's towards strength, vitality, agility, intelligence, or perception, aka precision, additional MP, cooldown reductions, critical hit rate, critical hit damage, defense HP, and attack. Now, let's talk a little bit about how all of these work. You guys can notice here I don't have very much in attack, but I have a ton in agility and I have a ton in perception. I'm going to explain to you guys why and how all of this works out for you and what you want to do for your own character, okay? So this is all fine and good from a stats perspective. What you actually want to focus on after that is the actual full stats, which you can click this little magnifying glass and see where you are in terms of where these stats land, okay? Couple things to note. When you hit this yellow, that means you've maxed out the ceiling. You cannot go any further, so anything in that stat is now going to be mute and useless, okay? So anything I put into here is not going to increase this 99% any further. This is as far as it goes. As a matter of fact, that also means I should probably lower it. Now, a couple things to note here about these stats. These are also mostly driven from your gear, your artifacts, and also your accessories. Not those stats that you see up there, okay? Those stats are to help you get a little bit more out of it, but it's not where most of it comes from. So for example, let's take a quick little example here. If I take away all of my equipment, right? Let's say I unequip this, right? You'll see now my precision went down to 93%. So that weapon alone helped me get, what was that? Another 6.8%, 6.9%, let's say 6.73% more precision. Okay, if I were to remove the scythe now, you can see it even goes further, right? 83%. And not only that, but you guys also notice the attack power drastically dropped. So those two things were affected. Now, something that wasn't affected by those weapons, though, was my crit hit rate and my crit hit damage rate. Now, if I were, let's just take all these stats, keep this in mind, and I'm going to reset everything. Okay, I'm going to reset this whole thing. Okay, now if you look at everything with the reset, 62%. So this here, the points that I had in there gave me roughly another 20% in precision, right? And almost nothing in attack. Nothing was touched in attack. So most of my attack was coming from my weapons and my gear. A little bit of crit hit went down, a lot of crit hit damage went down. So my stats were affecting those. So here I'm going to show you guys a couple different things to note when you are doing this. Number one, attack itself does not matter. Most of it, as mentioned, will come from your gear, which is your artifacts, right? As well as your accessories. This is where most of this is being affected. Also, your crit damage and your crit hit rate is also coming from your gear and your skill points. Precision has nothing to do with this, so this will not be affecting your precision whatsoever. So that should tell you quite a bit of where your focus should lie in terms of your stats, right? So if I go back for a sec, go back into him. Couple ceilings to note. I'm going to go ahead and max this out, okay, just to show you guys. Don't worry, I'll spend my gold, not a big deal. Let's just max it, okay? I'm going to go 330 full in on crit. If I go back here, you guys noticed it's back to yellow. That's right, there is a ceiling for crit rate. There is a ceiling, okay? Do not exceed that ceiling. It's useless. You can see the crit hit damage though will go up, but the crit rate stops. The thing to note about crit rate, if you're new to our role-playing games, crit hit rate procs crit hit damage. Without crit hit rate, crit damage doesn't work. So this is very important to remember, guys. You don't want to exceed the 50% mark. Okay, you guys notice I was a 49 something percent. Okay, now if I go back here and I re-equip my weapons, right? Let's just go ahead and put in these weapons. You notice that some of these weapons, for example, have precision on them. Okay, so remember, the higher the dupe, this is important, okay? The dupe, so extra copies of the weapon, the more precision you get. You guys notice that none of my weapons here without dupes have precision, right? So if I go back here, no precision on this one, but this dupe copy has 1,750. So your precision is based off of the amount of weapons you get of the same kind. So it's very, very important to remember. So if you don't have this, for example, right? If I click these two right here, look at this. It still stays at 62.04%, which means all of my points will have to allocate more into precision. So if I reset this, I'm just showing you guys how this works, right? If I reset this and I go, let's say I push this over to 200%, right? And I have 130 left, so I'll just show you guys how this works. So I'll go to 200, it goes to 97.05%. Now watch this. If I replace this now, let's just put in something with an A1. Let's just put the Demon Longsword in. I've now all of a sudden capped it, okay? So the first thing you want to do, and when you're building your stats, guys, is equip your weapons and your actual artifacts and your gear to understand where your stats are at from a percentage perspective. Okay, that includes your crit hit rate, because there's no point in putting in as much in agility if your crit hit rate is maxed out. All right, yes, it does increase crit hit damage, but it's not enough to justify that, and that's where you will focus your stats elsewhere. So, for example, if I have max crit hit rate and I don't need agility, well, then I'm going to make sure that my precision is high, right? If I max out on both of these, then I'm going to focus on strength next. Strength is there's no ceiling for strength. Strength can go as high as you need it to go, and there's no problem with that, okay? So strength should be your third focus. So first, it should be the following, in my opinion. Agility, 50% crit for sure. Precision next. Attack third. And then lastly, if you have attack, everything goes into intelligence, okay? HP, defense, not worth it. Absolutely not worth it, because the thing is, most of these things will scale off of attack. Most of your weapons will scale off of attack. Most of your gear will scale off of attack. Most of your attacks scale off of attack. Actually, 90% of them do. And having lower cooldowns to cast more abilities is going to be a bigger damage output if you're able to dodge and avoid damage altogether, right? So that's the main thing to remember. So the first thing, guys, I'm going to do, right, when I'm playing this game is look at my precision. This is why it's important to get dupes for weapons, and if you don't have dupes, this is why it's important to build a proper setup. Now let's just take away this for a second, okay? And let's just say average player. You have no dupes for weapons. I'm gonna put no dupe weapons together, okay? It doesn't matter what weapons I use really at the end of the day, but sometimes it's smart as a secondary weapon to just put something with precision on it, okay? So again, I look at this, I'm at 97%, right? Okay, so shit. Okay, no, you know what? That's not going to work for me. Let's just put in something with a little bit of precision. This gives me 910 points. There you go. Boom. Maxed out precision. Okay, so as a free-to-play player even, or as a whale, whatever you decide to do, if you can't max out your precision, your main weapon is fine, even without dupes, but just make sure your secondary weapon has a couple dupes in there to help you just push that envelope there in order to max it out, okay? Now, if I take the rest of the 130, right, and let's just put the whole thing into crit, what do I end up with? Okay, so let's see, 47%. So now I know with that window that I can reduce precision doesn't matter what you call it, from 210 points and allocate more points into the 140. So let's just reset this again, okay? And let's just put, let's put 175. Actually, no, 165. Let's do that. 160. Okay, you know what? 170. 170. So this is what you want to do. You want to go back, take a look. Oh shit, okay, so 95.25. So now I know if I have another dupe weapon, let's just say that has 3 stars instead, even if it's an SR weapon, right? Let's put that on. What does this push me to? 97.11. Okay, so that's not enough. Now you want to go, okay, well, do I have anything with 4 stars? If I do, let's see what this pushes me to now. 98.13, right? So this is where it's important to kind of play with your stats and understand how much precision you need to get to 100%. Now this puts me at 98.98. Now if I take one more point, if I put, let's just say 5 more points into here, confirm. Will this push me to where I need to go? It does. Okay, you can go a point at a time, by the way, and just like go from that, build it slowly, and that's how you build your stats. Now I know for crit rate, for example, I only have 40%, so I don't think my points are going to be enough to get me to the mark that I need to go, right? So 155, if I confirm that, you're gonna look back and you're gonna see, oh shit, okay, no, I'm missing 1.95%. So this is where it's important to go back to your artifacts and be like, what can I get here? Okay, crit hit rate, there it is right there. So can my gear supplement me crit hit rate? Now, a lot of you guys are going to ask the question for gear, Payne, is it better to have a 4 set, 2 set, or just random sets with better stats? It's up to you. For example, the set that I'm running here, which is the Destroyer set, you 100% want the 4 set. There's no choices. I mean, it's mindless if you have that. But for accessories, you could also push that, right? Accessories don't need the four piece all the time. So sometimes it's just nice to find the 4 piece. In this case, it is important for this 4 piece, but sometimes it's just nice to mix and match and get yourself that extra crit rate you need. And then from there, you guys can push damage doing this, right? So for example, this here doesn't have any crit rate. So if I go back and change this accessory, I'm like, okay, look, I'm looking for crit rate. Where can I find it? Crit hit damage. Let's see, crit rate. Let's see if I find any around here, and I'll equip it, and you guys can see the difference then in how this works. That's crit hit damage right there. Let's see, crit rate. Is there anything with crit rate? That's a substat, by the way, is what you're looking for. Crit hit damage, crit hit damage. I don't know if this has any crit rate as accessories in this section. It might. I think it's rare. This specific one may not, though. Crit hit damage, yeah, you guys can see no crit rates at all here. Okay, so, oh, what was that one? No, that's crit hit damage. Okay, let's go back to another accessory. Let's go to this one. Actually, no, this one. If I go change artifact, if you look here, attack, defense, additional HP, additional defense, HP. Let's just see if there's any substats, crit hit damage. You know what? The accessories actually might not have crit at all. Let's see, crit hit damage, That crit hit there? Crit hit damage, no. Again, crit hit damage all across the board. Okay, let's go back to these. See, like this has crit hit rate, for example. That's what you're looking for. Does this have crit hit rate? I don't know, accessories. It looks like accessories guys may not have it. Either that or I'm having really bad luck. So this, I'm learning something new while doing this video as well. Again, I don't normally edit my videos, guys, so you guys are learning on the spot while I'm learning. And I'm not going to edit this out because I like to show my process. But this is, yeah, this is interesting. You guys can see here, I don't seem to have any form of crit hit rate on accessories. So it looks like you're going to have to focus on, it's all crit hit damage. So you're going to have to focus on gear. So your gear is going to have the crit hit rate right here. Like see that right there, this right here. So if I push this to 20, for example, this may actually give me the crit hit rate I'm looking for if it actually lands on there. So that's, you know, that's an example of something that you want to consider. So if I go to 20, let's just say 17, see if I can get, it costs so much, guys, to push gear at this point. There's 18, if I get lucky, 19, 20, let's see. They went to additional attack. Okay, so that's what I mean. So you're gonna have to look at this, kind of level up your gear and see like, hey, where can I put the possible, like there's another crit hit rate right there. And then this one here, I could probably find something with crit hit rate if I have the proper boots, and that should supplement enough points for me. But for now, in this case, what I'd want to do is go back and essentially take more points out of precision, because you want agility to max out. So if I go back, right, and then this was what, let's put 190 and see where that lands us. Okay, 190, confirm. If I go back here, you guys can see now I'm at 49.35%. So here I can just do a point at a time. Let's 1, 2, 3. Let's just put 3 points. Let's just see what happens with 3 points. Okay, 49.46. Okay, and then let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go actually 3 points again. So that's 18 more stats. 49.57. Okay, so yeah, we can probably push this comfortably to, let's say, 210, and then this will be very close. 49.71. Okay, so again, another 5 points will probably help that. Let's go here. Let's see where we're at now. 40. Okay, so looks like another what, 5 points? So 210. So 220 gives me my 50. There's my 50, exactly 50%, okay? And then lastly, perception now is going to get the rest, okay? And this is important again, because perception is the second most important stat for you. It does more minimum damage for you, so your weapons do more. So now this puts me at 90.7%. So now I obviously need to compensate that with higher level weapons. And this right here puts me at exactly 99. Now this is overkill, I think. I think I can probably just do something like this. And this will still probably be enough, okay? So there you guys have it. That's how that works. The rest of it now going forward from this point on, you guys see this 0 put me lower. So I have to have at least a bare minimum, at least a 1. One in there with the SSR with 3, okay? Or if I do this and I do like, let's say a 4-star. Let's see what this does. still a little low, right? So you guys can see even a 2-star with a 4-star is still too low. Let's push a 5-star in here and see what this does. There you go. That's exactly it. And then from there, every other point going forward, guys, goes into attack. That's how it works. All right. So crit hit rate first, so agility first, precision next, and then lastly attack, and then intelligence when you're at that point. All right, guys, this is Payne. Hope this video was insightful. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.